welcome to another edition of Cracking the Cryptic. Today I'm going to look at the Times crossword. So this is Thursday's crossword. Let's talk you through it. So, powerful cocktail keeps sharpness hot. Okay, well I suspect this means powerful. And we need a name of a cocktail. I'm not sure what that is. And that's going to keep sharpness. What could that be? Acidity, acuity, and then H for hot. Not seeing what that is. Let's move on. A fool entering shortly. Siegfried, perhaps. Operatic hero. Freud. Sassoon. Yes, Sassoon looks good, doesn't it? Siegfried Sassoon, and we've got ass there for fool in the middle of soon for shortly. Let's try 7 down, gives a lot of letters. Announcing process of selecting actor for woman in Chicago. Process of selecting actor, that sounds like casting. Woman in Chicago, broadcasting. So that was quite an interesting way I solved that. I sort of did the wordplay and then realised it had to be backwards. Composer with this set of letters looks like Rossini immediately. Maybe not now. Crossing 6 bars, the extreme ones. Composer crossing 6 bars. Not sure. Leading advocate wanting beer around office. Okay, well here, this is a word that means leading advocate, and then we need to think of a short synonym for the word beer, and that should be quite gettable given we have an A already, because we need to place that synonym around, so it needs to go around the edge of a 4-letter word that means office. So pause if you need to. The answer is apostle. 13. Story satisfied with 2 characters finally killed. Story satisfied with 2 characters killed. I should certainly be able to solve that, and the fact I can't is appalling, so sorry about that. 16 across. Nameless bird gaining height. A distant point in the sky. Oh goodness. There are lots of funny words for various astrological points, and I suspect we're going to need one of those here. Nameless bird gaining height. Well, it's probably a bird without an N. Could be snipe without an. So S-I-P-E, gaining height. Height can be abbreviated to H. Not sure what that is at all. Freezing fine beheaded fish lying caught. Well, freezing sounds like it's ice something, doesn't it? Fine beheaded fish. Fine beheaded could be nice without its first letter. Freezing. Ice. Ice flow? No, I don't know. Going to miss drive after golf caps flying. Wow, no. Even though I've got a couple of useful answers, I'm not making good progress from. Right, artist's place. Well, I'm lucky enough to know that there's a word atelier, which is where it's an artist's studio. And I'm fairly confident, without reading the rest of the clue, this will be right, but let's have a look. Lately stripped. Okay, well that's lately without its edge letters, so we can see we've now got the A-T-E-L from atelier. Odd pieces of fine art removed. Well, if we take just the even letters of the words fine and art, we could take the I, the E and the R, which gives us the full answer there. Long, sweet film. I think this will be the name of the film. And it'll be a word that means long, followed by a word that means sweet. Fortunately, I don't know it yet, so let's go back. Letter of key, big building, across street. Well, I'm thinking this will be, yeah, okay, it is. It's a word that means letter. Obviously that could mean letter as in a character, or it could mean letter as in something you write to somebody. And then when we see the word key, we should always be thinking of musical keys. So it could well indicate just A, B, C, D, E, or F or G. Then we need a short synonym for a building, and that's going to go around the edge of an abbreviation for the word street, which is very often ST. It can be RD for road, but here, with this T here, this looks very good. So see if you can think of a word for a letter that would fit this and fits the other parameters. Pause if you need. The answer is epistle. And then we've got E for the key, pile for the big building. Powerful cocktail. Keeps sharpness hot. Still could be Rossini. This now looks like canoe or something like that, or story satisfied with 2 characters. Oh, okay. This is one of these funny words. Conte, I think, is the word, which I think is a type of story. And then, if you're satisfied, you're content. And then the 2 final characters are being killed here, or just removed. I think killed is a bit. Maybe that needs a question mark, because it's a little bit of a liberty taken with the meaning of the word, I think. I suppose in an American sense, if you rub something out, you kill it. So, I don't know. Subject of experiment needing a piece of gold and a piece of iron. Guinea pig is what I'm immediately thinking here, because that just seems to fit the definition so well if it's subject of experiment. And a piece of gold, well, that is a guinea. And a piece of iron, well, that can be called a pig, as in pig iron, so that looks quite useful. And now I've thought of a powerful cocktail that would go in here. I'm thinking of the word sledgehammer. Let's put that in and see. Sharpness here is edge. H for hot, and that's all surrounded by the word slammer. Which I think is the cocktail. So actually powerful is just sledgehammer here, I think. Something's... Is that a sledgehammer an adjective? I guess it can be. So this still looks like Rossini. Composer crossing. Oh, I see. Yes, if we look at the words crossing and 6 and we remove the outside letters of both, you can see we would get the letters of Rossini. So I think the idea here is that we need to bar the extreme letters of both these words. It's a very unusual construction, the wordplay there, but I'm very confident the answer is right. Sent out signal with call involving extra backing. Sent out signal. That sounds to me like that's the definition. So we need a word for call, and that's going to involve... The thing about the word extra here, that could well be an extra in a cricketing sense. So, you know, it's very possible, I think, that this would contain something like that. In the middle of it, so a reversal of the word by or no ball or wide or something like that. So let's keep that in our mind. So cuts a number of bad journalists. Well, this is a double definition. A bad journalist is a hack. If we pluralise that, we get hacks, and hacks certainly means cuts. Great leader, a Chinese one. imprisons rest unfortunately. Well, this is a 7-letter word that means great leader. And we need to think of a Chinese leader beginning with M, so that's not too hard. And that's imprisoning, so that's surrounding, rest unfortunately. So that's an anagram of the word rest. So unfortunately there is indicating we need to anagram the letters of the word rest. So pause if you need to. The answer is maestro. Festive food, cut by a penny, being this. Well, okay. It's quite interesting. Again, it's an interesting word. So we need to think of a word that means festive food, and it's a quite unusual meaning of this word. And the way I've solved the clue is by trying to read the rest of it, cut by a penny. So it seems like we need a 5-letter word that means festive food, and we're going to include A and P for penny there. So this A, and then penny is P. And then if we cut something by a penny, what would it be? Well, it would be cheaper. And I think cheer in one form can mean festive food. So I think this is the answer to the clue. Now this one looks, I can immediately see how this is going to work. So racist eye upset with mocking humour. So this is an anagram of racist eye. So see if you can come up with the answer. I think it's satiric. 6 down. Material used for ropes, seaports replaced. Okay, so this is another anagram, believe it or not, this time of the word seaport. And you have to know a type of material used for ropes. And I think esparto is what we're after there. I think that's a type of grass, I thought, but clearly you can make ropes from it. 10 down. Thinking about inner secret can be diverting. Okay, well, I can think of a 12-letter word with beginning R blank C that might mean diverting, so I want to write that in. It's recreational. You can see how that's got rational around the edge as well, which I like. Yeah. I like for thinking. If someone's thinking, they're rational. About inner secret. So inner secret, we've seen this a number of times in this crossword already. We need to look at just the inner letters of the word secret, which are E, C, R, and E. You can see E, C, R, E. It's being put in the middle of thinking, i.e. rational. And that gives us the answer. Not easy. Right, sent out signal with call involving extra backing. Should be able to get that. Can't. Drunk at the end of today, not on. Well, this is a nice clue. It's a word that means drunk. You'd be forgiven when you see the word drunk to be thinking, I need to find something to anagram. That was a good thought to have, but it wouldn't be right in this instance. We need a 7-letter word which means at the end of today, i.e. the time period we get to at the end of the day, today, and then we're going to remove on from that word. So have a think about that. The answer is tight. And you can see if you take the word tonight, which is the end of today, remove the on, you get tight. Note boss on round shield for centurions. Okay. This is a slightly difficult word, but the wordplay is helpful here. It's a 7-letter word that means shield for centurions. Now this time we see note here, and this is again a musical note, but there's a difference between a musical note and a musical key, obviously, because when we talk about notes, we're talking about do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and do, all of which have their own spellings. So it's always good when you see note to be considering one of those options. And here we can see the answer begins with T, So I'm very confident we're looking for this at the start. This is how you spell the musical note T. Then we need boss on round. Well, there is a word, 4 letters, which is very commonly used as a synonym for boss, and it's the word stud. Sort of a raised stud, that can be called a boss. And then round, or something round, is the letter O. So we get this, testudo, and that is a word that was a shield in Roman times. So again, not easy, but the wordplay helps if you have a bit of experience. Where some take off label, turning up strip of material. Where some take off, that's an interesting. I'd love that to be helipad or something like that, but I can't see. See, beginning with G, it's not going to be. Label turning up, well, oh, it's going to be Gatwick, isn't it? I'm being silly. So a label reversed, if we reverse the word tag, which is a very common synonym for the word label, we get gat. And then a strip of material, that can be a wick. And Gatwick is obviously somewhere where people take off. So, nice clue. Half rice, soup, time to make this. Well, sorry, half rice, half soup, time. So, if we take half the word rice, RI, half the word soup, we get SO. Time, well, that can be abbreviated to the letter T, so that's this T here. 2, well, that's just plainly given. We get this word, risotto. And I think this is quite a nice clue, actually, because you know you do make risotto with rice, soup, and a bit of thyme. So nice, clever use of the ingredients to make the answer there. Mineral mass once found in a moon classically. Oh goodness. Okay, well, I can think of a mineral that fits, that has some characteristics that might be helpful. So I'm going to write it in and then try and justify it. Alumina. So mass can be abbreviated to M, so that looks like this M. 1 can be I, so this Mi looks like it's given by mass ones, and that's found in A, this A here, and then moon classically is the word lunar, which I presume is probably Latin for the moon, but we can check that afterwards. Fortunately, I never did Latin or Greek at school, which is a great regret. Here we go. Running internet without a host. Well, I know that the word running can be very often used as an anagram indicator, so I think this is going to be an anagram for the word internet around the outside, i.e. without the letter A. That gives us 9 letters, which is what we're after, and we need to come up with a word that means host. Now, hosts can mean obviously somebody who introduces things. It could also mean host as in a lot of something. If you have an army, is sometimes described as a host. Or it can even be if you host, you entertain. And that's the answer there. Right, so send out signal with call involving extra backing. Call could be phone. Pheromone? Sent out signal is a pheromone, isn't it? So phone is surrounding, extra is more, reversed. So it wasn't cricket, it was simply synonym for extra in the normal sense, and pheromone is the answer. What's this then? Oh, this is our nameless bird. Gaining height. A distant point in the sky. Starlight? Starling. I can see how that's... Yeah, starling without its N is starlig, and then height is HT, and that gives us our distant point in the sky. So it's a much easier word than I was expecting, which is lucky. Now, okay, so 18 down, appearing very good in getting into record book. Well, a record book is a log. Appearing could be looking. Yeah, I think if you described something as very good, if you said very good to somebody, you would be saying okay, as in you would be agreeing with them. So if we have okay and in, so okay for very good, this in is this in here, all in the middle of log, we get looking, and that means appearing. So that looks good to me. Right, so a long sweet film. No doubt. Brighton Rock. Okay, that is the name of the film. Brighton. Right, now what's going on here? Sweet is certainly... Oh, I see. Long sweet is saying that the sweet that is Brighton Rock, that pink thing you buy at the seaside, is long. You know, it's probably that long. So it's a long sweet, and it is the name of a film. So I like that actually. It wasn't what I was expecting, which was a word for long followed by a word for sweet. Right, going to miss drive after golf caps flying. Gliding? Yes, it is gliding. Difficult to see why immediately, but I think I've understood it now. So flying can mean gliding. So that's just this. That deals with the definition. So how does the rest of it work? Well, going to miss drive. If you drive somewhere, you go there. So the word going without the word go just gives us ing. And ing needs to go after golf. That's G, because golf can be used as in, you know, the international radio alphabet would be, G would be the word golf, just as you say Romeo Papa, that would be RP, and then cap is lid, so that put all that together you get gliding, which is the answer. And we've not looked at this one yet. What green-fingered person, of course, has something to do with flower bed? What green-fingered person, of course, has something to do with flower bed? Wow. Freezing could be ice cold then. Yeah, that's okay. So the bit of that I hadn't got was cod surrounding L. So ice cold gives us that. Green-fingered person, of course, has someone who has fingers does have a digit, clearly. And something to do with a bed, you can dig it. You can dig it up. So there we go. I think this is the answer. Let's submit it. And then we'll have a quick look at a couple of the questions I had. One was on cheer, I remember that, and we'll check the etymology for lunar as well. Hopefully there's no typos in there. Yeah, that's correct. So we'll just have a quick look at some dictionary stuff. So lunar, you can see there Latin luna for moon in the etymology for the moth, L lunar moon. So that's how that one worked. Cheer, there we go. Fair, festive, well, it's described as food rather than festive food. I think it's interesting, isn't it? So slight liberty taken with the definition there. And let's just show you content as well. There we go. Short story. Perhaps I've mispronounced that, but I think it was safer to pronounce it the way I did. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope this was useful, and we'll see you again next time on Cryptic.